Greetings, geniuses. This video is going to cover another topic from the INFJ perspective, as usual. Why is the INFJ a genius? And yes, I'm biased, but I think it's an interesting question to talk about and ask because there's a lot of talk about INFJs being geniuses online in hundreds, thousands of videos. And I think there's definitely some truth to it, and I will explain why. And like I said, I'm biased, but I also can connect the dots on certain things. And basically, I just want to give you my explanation, perception on this whole topic. I would say, number one, if there's any reason that INFJs are prone to be in the genius category, it would be simply because of the massive amounts of time that we speculate and introspect on everything that goes on in our world, both in our immediate circle and just the world in general. And like usual, I can only speak from my own perspective and the INFJ perspective, but I'm always very aware of current events going on both in my country and in my world as much as possible. And I'm always constantly analyzing, like I said, my immediate circle, all the people around me that I interact with, going from my neighborhood to on the streets to any organization, group that I'm a part of, my work, you name it. So, in trying to influence you on my point that INFJs are geniuses, I would say that it has a lot to do with maturity, first of all, or second of all, because if you have an immature INFJ, yes, they still have all of the cognitive abilities of any other INFJ, but they're not really using them or maximizing them. Maybe they're using them for selfish reasons, or they're just only using a small portion because maybe they're just focused on some hobby or career and they think they're going to be rich and famous. And so it's just very narrow. But now, if you talk about a mature INFJ, usually one who's been around the block for a while, like myself, who's made a lot of mistakes and learned from those mistakes and have constantly introspected and tweaked their behavior, I'm still far from perfect and more aware of that every single day. However, I have been very critical of myself for so long and honed a lot of those things. And when I feel myself getting off course, I really want to get back on track as soon as possible. So, and even someone that you could say falls into a genius category still makes mistakes, still is not perfect, and still can do some dumb things from time to time. And I think we can find examples of that if we look at other people. And so that just goes along with the fact that people are not perfect and everybody makes mistakes. And sometimes they seem like silly mistakes to another person, but it's just because that highly intelligent, capable genius or genius never had that experience in that other area before. So isn't it kind of funny how that works sometimes? So again, in trying to make for you my argument of the INF genius being a genius, it would be that it really comes down to the INFJ being mature. But if they are, and like I said, probably learned a lot of lessons along the way, then they are going to be prone to be highly intelligent, very observant, having not being selfish as much anymore, hopefully very little, and having been open-minded to learn from not just their own mistakes, but mistakes of the world that have been observed. So, and is there a magical combination with the introverted intuition, extroverted sensing, feeling judging? I think there is. And a lot of other teachers online talking about the INFJ perspective and psychologists have talked about this just being sort of the order of the cognitive functions and how we use all of them together. So, yes, I personally believe there's kind of a magical order there. However, at the same time, I would say that anybody and everybody has the ability to learn how to think critically, learn from their experiences, not be selfish, read books, read online, get a better education, continue to develop themselves. So you see where I'm going at? Yes, I'm totally biased on INFJs because that's the personality, or that's the MBTI, or personality type that I fall into. And like I've often said, I've learned the hard way, and I've loved my personality traits, and I would never want to be another personality because I see the value in the way that I look at things. Yet, I also still believe that everybody has amazing gifts and abilities, and it often just comes down to maturity and learning how to grow and be open to growing. And if somebody criticizes you for something, simply being able to stop and think about it and sort of ask yourself, are they right? Am I messed up in that area? And I know from my own experience, when I've made mistakes or somebody pointed out something, it wasn't always a quick, oh yes, you're right, I am screwed up. No, most of the time, you're going to be defensive and you're going to want to ignore it or deny it. But I think the more mature you get, the shorter the time goes between that to realizing and accepting that, yes, there's something I can improve at. And it's those small steps, like I said, one little thing that you improve every day, week, month, however fast it is. And the more things that you improve, the better and more well-rounded of a person you become. And you can become more in tune with whatever your cognitive functions and personality traits are. So I'm going to say INFJs are geniuses, and that's why we got the theme going on the channel. But you do have to train yourself and be open to learning how to use your abilities to the best you can. And there's always going to be humbling experiences along the way. So I hope this video was helpful for you and interesting. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Genius.